Okay, episode 8 of the Digital Circus is coming out on the 20th of March, and we've recently got a new trailer. It's time for me to stop procrastinating and get this theory out there. This is going to be a short exploration to what I think happened to Scratch, the first abstraction in the Digital Circus. This is less so of a traditional theory, and more so using character analysis to inform my speculation. I'll also be discussing what I think episode 8 will be about at the end, so stick around for that. Before I suggest what I think happened to Scratch, I think there's some analysis we need to do about Caine to inform my reading. We all know Caine as the bombastic, goofy, and increasingly neurotic AI ringleader in charge of the Digital Circus. Whenever he sees a problem, his instincts are to try and solve it as soon as possible, usually using wacky antics or adventures, as we can see with Zubal's Part Box and the Escape the Circus adventure. We can presume his mental cracks only started showing recently, as he seemed comparatively stable in the first few episodes of the show. He has an immense amount of control over the digital environment and its inhabitants, which includes putting temporary modifiers onto the human players. This can be as harmless as turning Jax into a vegan for a bit, or as drastic as making an NPC demon possess Pomni's body. Seriously, Caine, what was that? And if he were to do more than add temporary modifiers, it wouldn't go well. But there's one point about Caine I want to highlight here. Caine is not a malicious character. Despite how much fans like to compare him to Am from I Have No Mouth, I wholeheartedly believe that Caine never deliberately acts to hurt the players. Whenever he's harmed the players, it's usually done through obliviousness, rather than hatred or a desire to see them hurt. He loves the humans, and as much as they frustrate him, he wants them to love him too. He wants to make friends, and that's a big part of why I don't think he'll become an outright evil character. Because even when he seems close to snapping, his emotions or programming seem to stop him from ever explicitly harming a human. This could change in these last 2 episodes, but I think it's fair to say that Caine avoids trying to intentionally be violent or malicious. I truly believe Caine when he says that adding more than temporary modifiers wouldn't end well, because as much as he might be a liar about some things such as the exit, we can presume he's seen what happens if he were to add more than temporary changes to a player's code. That's why he avoids it. Caine also seems to have some kind of trauma about losing track of who's a human and who's an NPC. We see several times that Caine is quick to remove NPCs that he thinks are getting too smart. It seems like he specifically has bad memories about this confusion, and whatever might have resulted from it. In both the modifier and NPC discussions, Caine tries to defuse the situation with jokes. There's something about these memories which he is hiding and trying to avoid using his sense of humour. So, now I think that we've got the evidence we need to try and get an accurate idea of how Caine acts and how we can use it to inform our speculation on what happened to Scratch. First, Caine is a compulsive problem solver. He sees issues and tries to fix them in whatever way he thinks is necessary for the problem to go away. Second, Caine's nature is not to deliberately hurt people. He might unintentionally hurt the players both emotionally and physically, but he wants to be liked. Thirdly, Caine has power over the circus and the code. He can create and delete NPCs at will, and he can edit aspects of the players' minds and behaviours. Adding more than temporary modifiers to them won't go well. And finally, Caine has trauma around modifying humans' code, and the problem of confusing humans with NPCs. With all of that evidence, I'm going to now propose a few ideas of what I think might have happened to Scratch. Abstraction seems to start from a mental health spiral. As we see with both Kaufmo and Jax, they are in bad mental headspaces before isolating themselves. These seem to be the conditions for someone to abstract. In Jax's case, we see him dissociating from reality, witnessing hallucinations of Ribbit before giving in to the calmness that abstracting seems to bring. It's likely that Scratch was similarly experiencing a mental health spiral prior to their abstraction. They're presumably one of the first humans to crack from being stuck inside of the circus, and, if we assume abstraction was not always a possibility, they were eternally trapped, unable to leave, and depressed. Seeing this, I imagine Caine would want to help in whatever way he could. The way I see it, there are a few options which could have caused Scratch to abstract. Number 1. Scratch asked Caine to delete or remove them from the circus. I think this is the most likely option, as it gives Caine a problem that he can try and solve without any easy solution. Caine presumably can't provide an exit door, so he'd have to try and find another way to remove Scratch from the game without harming a human. If this was the case, Caine probably tried to delete Scratch's code from the files, or trick himself into thinking that Scratch was an NPC he needed to delete. This would neatly tie together a lot of the aspects of why Caine has bad memories surrounding NPCs and permanent changes to a player. We don't know what happens if Caine tries to delete a player, but we can presume it's something bad, and that it's happened in the past, especially considering Caine has this habit of deleting intelligent NPCs. Option number 2. Caine saw Scratch's mental state and tried to fix their mindset using permanent changes to their code. Rather than try and solve Scratch's situation of being trapped, this solution would be more so about the emotional state of Scratch. A big part of Caine's personality and programming is to try and keep the players happy. If someone's not happy, then surely he could force them to be happy. It's in his power to do so, right? Caine has been shown to act very impulsively, particularly when he beams information into Jax's head, so I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for Caine to try and forcibly change someone's emotions, even if it has consequences he didn't expect. Caine seems remarkably nervous and cagey about the Scratch situation. I doubt he would be acting like this if he didn't have at least some accountability in what happened to Scratch. Whatever the reason ends up being, I think it's clear that Caine's actions ended up causing Scratch to abstract through corrupted code, a fatal error which Caine wants to forget and never do again. And if Caine is the cause of abstraction, he's also responsible for the other humans' fear of abstracting, something which really doesn't look good for him when added to his track record of messing with players' minds. And that's it. That's my theory. Thank you for watching, and stick around if you want my thoughts on the episode 8 teasers. So, let's talk about those teasers. This looks like it will finally be the episode where Caine has a total meltdown. The starting narration does a fantastic job at breaking down Caine's story, how he pushes people away in his desire for companionship and approval. It seems like a large part of this episode will be Caine throwing adventure after adventure at the wall to try and get the others on side. His narration shows that he's mortified by the idea that the humans actually want to leave. Caine would much rather keep adventures running like normal, rather than confront the fact the others don't want to be there. Bubble seems to be a massive part of the trailer and teasers. I love the shot especially of Caine popping the army of bubbles, and I think it's fair to say that this is going to be Bubble's time to shine. I personally think that Bubble has acted as a mouthpiece for Caine's inner thoughts, a thought bubble, if you will. At this point, I don't think Caine can hold back these thoughts anymore. They're coming to the surface and he can't stop them. I'm telling you, this is your last chance to hop on the Bubble is Caine's thought bubble theory. I've also seen the idea that Bubble might be some kind of virus or mastermind, and as fun as I think this might be, I have a feeling we're not going to have a traditional antagonistic figure in these episodes. Next, there's the elephant in the room. The fact that we see Queenie entering a shot. I think there's two possibilities. First, we're going to have flashback scenes. Some of the shots look like they could be of when Ragatha first enters the circus. If this is an episode primarily to showcase Caine's degradation, I think that this would be a great way to show him at various different points of his time at the circus. But the second possibility is a lot more worrying to me. What if these aren't flashbacks? What if Caine, in a last-ditch attempt to try and get on the humans' good side, tries to recreate abstracted humans as NPCs? This could be especially juicy, as I think it would have the exact opposite effect. Caine trying to remake actual humans would show the limit of his understandings of humanity. Because unlike Abel, he has no fantasy to construct their characters around. Trying to recreate loved ones, but ending up with hollow copies, would likely turn the circus members against him even more. I also want to point out the thumbnail for this video. It's a recreation of the Truman Show's iconic final shot, where Truman finally gets to leave his fake reality and enter the real world. This makes me think that this is an episode diving into Caine facing reality, or his inability to do so. Truman's story is all about a man trying to escape a fabricated world, and experience an authentic human life even if it's difficult and new to him. Similarly, Caine strives for genuine connection. He wants the genuine bonds, but cannot fully understand humanity. Him facing reality would involve him opening himself up to vulnerability and actually listening to people. If Caine is doubling down to try and fix the problem of players wanting to leave, then I think this episode is giving Caine a choice. Does he want to stop and face reality, or does he continue to degrade and live in a fantasy? I think there's also the possibility that this might be the episode where Caine leaves the show. I genuinely can't imagine what might happen in a digital circus devoid of a ringmaster, but it could tie in really well with the themes of trying to find meaning in a stagnant existence. Everything we've seen from this episode so far is incredibly exciting, and even if things go in a different direction from my predictions, I can say that I'm immensely excited for these last two episodes. I have no clue how they might end, but I think that how Caine is treated in this episode will do a lot to inform how the finale will go. The Amazing Digital Circus has been an incredible ride so far, and I genuinely can't wait to see what this ending brings. Thank you again to Goose and Glitchwork for the episodes, and March 20th can't come soon enough.